in your own work, your everyday life? That's not things.
Actually, before I start, I'd say that when I told people that I was going to be on a panel with Sarah Silverman, the Hasidic musician, a Russian czar, and two professors, and me, I was open to a joke. So I just hope I don't. And I really can't speak to represent all America. I can just kind of, I guess, make a story from my experience, which is developing new drugs for cancer. We have about 130 people based in Boston. And before I did that, I had a very sort of I worked in academia. I had a very kind of abstract theoretical life. I wrote papers, went to conferences, discussed with other colleagues. And then I worked in consulting and finance and Wall Street, which was again trading or consulting projects or how to improve. And then when I started the company, it was business plans, stock options, very abstract kind of theoretical experience. And I remember about 8 years ago, it was January 2003, when we were preparing to treat our first patient with our first cancer drug. And up until then, it had still been, in order to treat a patient with a cancer drug, you have to prepare thousands of pages of documentation to the FDA and experiments. Just that, so it's still a very abstract, theoretical concept of business plans and operations. And I remember that morning, I got on a plane in LaGuardia, I flew up to Boston, went to Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital, went into the room in the back of a corridor where the patient was, and just as I got there, the doctor finished treating the patient, and then spent another few minutes, and then she walked out. And then it was just me. It was me and a young African-American guy who had just graduated college, an incredibly nice guy, very athletic, whose body was unfortunately covered with tumors. He had a type of sarcoma. And I remember him looking at the IV bag of our first drug. He was going into his arm. He was looking into my eyes. He didn't care anything about stock options, business plans, or financing, or Series A, or employment agreements. He wanted to not die. And he knew that something that I was doing helped him not die. And in the moment, all the stuff that I did before, all this abstracted papers and just kind of faded away. I realized this is what I want. This is the thing that really motivates me. And the reason that I'm telling this story, I told this story at a Rosh Hashanah survey years ago, because it connects me to what I think is attractive things about Judaism. For me, it's the caring, passion. It's the realization that what's important in life, involved in devoting yourself to something bigger than you. It's not about yourself and how to improve yourself and how to get better or make more money or buy a bigger house. But what can you do to change? And for me, that's what's particularly attractive about Judaism.
But I'm trying to maybe, if even to even a deeper extent, to try to understand from all your identities. You're a man, and you're American, and you're Jewish, and so on and so on. You're a president of a company. If you try to rate them, where would Judaism go?
I think for me, it's a very important part of who I am. I'm born to an Israeli mother, an American Jewish father who grew up in the South in Louisiana in a time where there was very rampant anti-Semitism. So it was a very important part, I think, to what you were saying earlier. He was very influenced by the anti-Semitism when he grew up as a kid in the South. And he got very involved in doing things for Israel. I grew up very strongly connected to Israel, not in a religious sense, but in terms of connection, in terms of these are the kind of values that if and when I have a family, I'd like to pass on to my family.